What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. And once again, I have Arboks Den with me for another podcast. Arbok, introduce yourself to the new people that will be watching.
Hey guys, so welcome. My name is Mitchell, aka Arboks Den, guys. And just like Pokejebel, I am a Pokemon reseller. I buy and I sell Pokemon cards using the profit from that to fund my collecting for free. Now, just like Jebels, I have my own YouTube channel, which we do all of that on. So if you haven't been over, guys, really appreciate you checking it out. We do all sorts of stuff over there. So today, Jebels and I are going to share with you some of our knowledge, some of our stuff that we have learned throughout the years of buying and selling. And we're going to share that knowledge with you through the questions that you have asked through YouTube, Instagram, all sorts of stuff like that. So Jebels, let's take it away.
Yeah, so I think there's the last 4 or 5 days, both of us on Instagram and YouTube have been asking you guys for questions that you want answered, and we got an absolute ton. So we've got a lot to get through today, and hopefully you guys will learn an awful lot. So I think the first question I kind of want to start off with, which is tailored to absolutely everybody. And I'm going to try say people's names, and if I butcher it, I'm really sorry. But this comes from Instagram, from VFX. And he was asking, what is a good budget to start with? Now, I think that's a really good question because in this business, you need money. Last time you were on this podcast, you talked about how you sold your Yu-Gi-Oh collection. You chose Yu-Gi-Oh over Pokemon, and that's a great way for people to start. But if for you, what money range, what price range do you think people should start off with when they want to get into this business?
So yeah, common misconception, like obviously you need money to start. You need money to buy a product, but you don't have to exactly start there, guys. And you don't really need thousands of dollars, a couple of $100. You can make it work with a couple of $100. So my story, guys, I at the start of the year, I had to decide whether it was going to be Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh. Obviously, Pokemon, big passion of mine, so it had to be Pokemon. So I sold all my Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I got $750, and that's what I started with buying and selling, and then the rest is sort of history, guys. But we're doing a series on my channel with the $0 to $1,000 challenge, showing you guys you don't have to start with even any money, guys. You can start with just a couple of $100, $50, $20, whatever your budget is, you can make it work, but obviously the more money might speed things up a little bit. And as going into that, guys, you really want to start with the amount of money you're happy to risk losing, guys. It may work for you, it may not work for you. If you start off small, you minimize your risk, and I think that's probably the way to go rather than going full ball into it straight away, guys. Take that time, ease into it. You'll learn a lot in the first few months. So if you just ease into it, take your time, you can really have set up that strong foundation, so to speak.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Yeah, and I think you need to go into this with kind of like a plan. If you just go into it and say like, oh, I'm just going to go on eBay and I'm going to splash like $200 on something, it's not really the best way to go around it. We've talked about this a lot before in previous podcasts. You kind of want to have that niche for yourself. Like for both of us, it's like the Japanese side. For you, it's the old back holographic Pokemon cards. For me, it's more like booster packs, the gym promos, that kind of stuff. Like you want to find something that you can narrow down and focus really hard on. Because if you go on eBay, you're just going to be overwhelmed with overpriced stuff and lots of fees and all that kind of stuff that it's really difficult to get your head around sometimes. So for me personally, I started off with only $200, and now like I'm making orders in the high hundreds, low thousands now. So starting off small, like $200 between 0 and 200, you can do a lot with that. There's a lot of collections out there. I started myself with like booster boxes. I bought 2 or 3 booster boxes, sold them, put the profit into buying one more booster box and doing it that way. Arbok did it his way by selling off a collection. I think that's a really good way, especially if you don't really have, if you don't have, like for me, I don't have like a full-time job or anything. I'm a student, so I don't really have disposable income to kind of like splash into Pokemon. So if you're kind of like me, you want to be really careful with your money and try use other ways to sort of like fund this business side of Pokemon. That's what I think anyway. So
I'd say even if you had the money, I'd still recommend that you start small, because
yeah,
you can plan and stuff as much as you want, and there's still going to be things that come up that you didn't foresee, guys. So I really do recommend, even if you have the money, to still start small, and that way you can figure out what's working for you, and then take that money and really drive it home, guys. So
yeah,
starting small,
yeah.
a couple $100 is probably where I would start, but yeah, it's all up to, in the end of the day, it's all up to your
Yeah,
personal
it's
risk,
very
right?
easy to like overwhelm yourself in this hobby. Like sometimes I find that I've bought too much stuff to kind of like handle and sell and talk to people. It takes like so
It's a
much
great
time.
problem to have, isn't it, when you have too
Yeah,
much
it's a good problem, but
inventory?
like if you're if you're at the beginning and you're like, okay, I have no idea how to ship stuff. I have no idea how
Yeah.
eBay works. I have no idea. Like you need to first learn the information, learn the hobby, learn everything, get a plan down, and follow that plan to the T. And if you have to go back and replan everything, then do that. Do not just jump in and be like, "Oh, I'll just buy this collection and see, where it goes." It's not
I,
really
I think
smart.
the first stuff I bought took a good 2 months to sell as well, guys. So don't expect that you're going to start small and then a week later be reinvesting that product, guys. It can take time, man, and you have to be patient and have faith in the system. So I think we hammered that question home, Jebbles. What have you got next for us?
We have another great question here from Harris Justin C on Instagram, and he said, "What's the biggest blunder you've both made in your Pokemon selling careers? What's the biggest mistake you've made, Hardlock?"
Um, my biggest mistake was when I first started, Jebs. I really underestimated what it was going to cost to ship a few products. On the first few items that I sold, I was trying on eBay. Some of you may know that I'm really, really fond of eBay, and I was trying to work things out on eBay. I did a few auctions, and I really didn't take into account what it was going to cost to ship the items, and I ended up losing money on some pretty cool inventory. But,
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of learning from your mistakes, and I learned from that. So for me, it was not calculating the shipping correctly, but I mean, I take lessons in the mistakes I make, and I move forward, and I don't beat myself up too much. You're going to make mistakes from time to time, and it is what it is. But you learn from them and you move on. So for me, not planning as much as I could in the early days, but now that's a lesson I learned, and I'm happy that I learned it. So, what about you,
yeah,
Jess?
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I've got a couple of things. Shipping is definitely one of those where you really have to understand the costs associated with shipping and trying to find the cheapest method to ship, because so many people, when they begin, think, I'm talking about the USA here, so if you're Australian or British or whatever, I apologize, but like, in America, we have this system of priority mail shipping, where like you can send as much stuff as you can in a certain size box for like $7, and that's supposed to be the cheapest way, but the cheapest way is actually buying your own boxes and calculating the shipping separately. And I didn't know that, and I was wasting $1.50 per box, and if you add that up over the course of months and months and months, that's hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And I've also done really stupid stuff, which is really embarrassing, like forgetting a card in someone's order and then having to mail out that card, and that's costing you extra. I've never been someone to like made a mistake and not rectify it somehow by giving extra cards or extra packs or whatever. And it does happen. As your volume increases, you got loads more customers, and you have to be a lot more careful and a lot more strategized when you're doing your packing and ordering and accounting and all that kind of stuff. So you have to be really, really careful and really diligent that, if you have two Justins or two Joshes, you make sure they get the right order and everything like that. And I've had that problem before. Luckily, it was only something small, like I think it was 2 or 3 cards I've misplaced or whatever. But at the same time, you have to be really, really careful. And that's something that I've learned to be really careful with, is to make sure
Speak,
that I'm writing down as I go.
Speaking of wrong cards to wrong customers, I'll tell you a story, Jeff. Well, the biggest blunder that I have now, thinking about it, you jogged my memory, is I had 2 people order some vintage packs, right? I had one guy order a gym challenge and a Team Rocket pack, and one guy order a Team Rocket pack. Now, I only had one Team Rocket pack, but for some reason, I thought that the guy wanted both Gym Challenge and Gym Heroes, so I sent him them, and then I sent the other guy, obviously, the Team Rocket pack. And then when they got there, he's like, "Oh, bro, absolutely stoked with the packs, but I wanted the Team Rocket pack." I was like, and I went through it, and my heart sank, my heart sank. I'm like, "Oh, shit."
Yeah.
So I went back through the old messages, and yeah, he was right. He did order the Team Rocket pack. That was my mistake. And I said, you know what? That Gym Heroes pack is actually more expensive than Team Rocket pack, and you're more than welcome to keep it. And he wanted to buy my Team Rocket pack once it came in stock anyway. So really, he ended up just saving himself $50. But my mistake. Learned from that mistake, and now every time I make a mistake, I always try and improve my processes in my business. So the way I organize stuff on my desk, the way I package orders. If I make a mistake, I always try to create some sort of process or procedure in place to make sure that it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
So.
Definitely. All right. Do you have any questions?
Yeah. So I got a question that I like. I've obviously had to whittle them down a few. So I got 3 major questions that I'd really like to hammer home. And one is from Tojo TCG. He says, how often do you have to deal with difficult returns or customers? And any tips on dealing with this as a topic? So
yeah.
Have you ever had to deal with any
Yeah, definitely with difficult customers. So I've told you guys many times, I sell a lot on Facebook, and Facebook seems to be kind of like the place where it's a magnet for people who enjoy nitpicking or getting annoyed or whatever. And in terms of returns, what I say is, because I sell a lot of sealed stuff, if the seal on that product is broken, I'm not taking it back. They can return it if they want, and I'll inspect it. And if it is back absolutely immaculate, I'll give them like a full return or whatever. But I need that product back before they get that return. I'm really scared in the current climate that, I sell a lot of booster boxes that people are like opening the booster boxes, taking out the pack, somehow resealing it. The Japanese booster boxes don't have like any special wrapping. It doesn't have the Pokeballs on it. It doesn't have any like, I don't know what you call that white stuff, like print on top of it. It's just like a clear wrap around it. So I have to be really, really careful. But in terms of dealing with customers, I'm kind of not snobby, but like I'm really careful with who I deal with, because if someone is giving me that vibe where I think they're going to be an issue, I think there's going to be an issue, I think they're going to be a problem, I just steer clear of it. I just say, I'm sorry, it's out of stock or whatever. I just don't want to deal with it, because in the short term, you might get the however much money from that person, but in the long run, imagine you're having to go through PayPal with a dispute. You're perhaps the police get even involved. There's so many things that can go wrong that I tend to like the people who are really polite and really nice and really kind. 100% deal with them, even if there's any issues. But people who are rude, I've had so many rude people comment on posts and message me like really nasty. I've just been
manners. It's manners cost nothing,
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that your business, obviously dealing with a lot of stuff on Facebook Marketplace, you probably deal with a lot more difficult people to deal with. Whereas most of my business is on eBay. Now, a lot of people can get a bit scared with eBay because the return system is sort of built into the sale. Like it's all built in there, and it's really easy to do. But really, I would say less than 2% of my items are ever refunded. I don't quite often deal with the customer before the sale. It's more that if I ever do, would be on the other end of the sale.
Right.
But so dealing with people, I don't often do, unless I do on the odd occasion sell on Facebook and whatnot. But whereas you're having to always message the people before they're buying it, doing that. So obviously you expose yourself to that more often. Whereas eBay, probably I get on the other hand with returns and stuff. So not often do I get returns. And it comes down to the fact of how you list your items. On my eBay, on my store, how I list my items. Most of my cards, not a lot of my cards are actually near mint to mint. A lot of them are actually like they have a few flaws in that. And then it comes in with your processes when you list the cards and do what you need to do. It's about that. So what I do personally is I list the card. I take accurate photos of the card, the condition, and then I list up in the listing itself. I say accurate photos of the card have been provided. If you cannot determine the quality from the pictures provided, please assume the card is played. And that has worked really, really well for my business. So I know a lot of people approach me and saying, oh, how do you deal with people who don't agree with your determining condition? And basically, I just very, very rarely do I provide a conditioning of the card. I let the customer determine that for themselves. And if they're happy, they go through with the sale. And then on the return of that, on the other side of that, I get very, very little returns or very little. In fact, I get more positive feedback from the card being in better condition than what they determined it to be anyway. So yeah, that's
definitely good with I think it's good that on eBay I think you're a lot more protected than you are when you're selling on Instagram and Facebook. You've got the eBay customer service, and at least you got the PayPal customer service. Sometimes I only have PayPal. So I think to begin your kind of like journey, I think eBay is a really good way to go because it's a lot more protected than private sales. Private sales, I started with eBay. I even sold booster boxes on eBay, but it was just to kind of like get into the groove of like understanding the business world. And I think you're right in all of that. Definitely, yeah.
All right. Do you want me to shoot another question, or you got one of your own?
You go ahead, and I'll grab the next one.
Okay. So we got Miss Jojo Pokemon Hype. She says, where do you see yourself with your business in the next few years?
Well, that's a difficult one. It's hard to.
We probably need to do a whole other video on this topic, but we can probably make just give it to me in a one paragraph sort of answer, Jebels. You don't need to go full in depth. Just give it to me.
So when I started, if I said to myself, in December you'd be doing, this much shipping, you'd be making this much money, I wouldn't have believed myself. I believed you. I only did it just to basically make a little bit of extra money and fund my own hobby. And it's grown into something a little bit more than that now. And I'm really thankful for that. But I hope, I'm leaving university in May. I'm graduating in May. And I hope that I can kind of like make it a bit more professional, make my own store, make my own website, all that kind of stuff. And kind of like expand. I want to try sell overseas a little bit more. I'm really tailored to America right now. I have made some sales to the UK and Portugal and France before, but I kind of want to expand because I want as many people as possible to experience Japanese like you and I do. I think when we started this, not many people talk to us about Japanese stuff, but every single day I'm getting more messages saying like, you got me into Japanese. I absolutely love it. And I think spreading this love of Japanese Pokemon and showing it's just so much better than what we get in English is something that I really love. And I just love giving people products for better prices. Nothing makes me happier than when I give someone a product and they're like, oh man, I wish I'd come to you like weeks before I'd spent this much money and I could have saved it with you. Like I love that kind of like interaction of helping people as well. Although I'm getting paid for it, it's like nice knowing that I'm saving people a bit
addicting.
money.
Like it's addicting seeing like making people happy. It really
right.
is.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you?
So this year I've really had a lot of free time, to be honest. Like I've lost a lot of hours of work with the whole virus and whatnot. So I've been blessed with the asset of time this year. So moving on to next year, I plan on working and whatnot. So really a lot of my free time is going to be like really, really scarce. So what I'm trying to do is making my store as efficient as possible. So I'm spent the year trying to figure out what really works for my store. So I'm going to really double down on what works. And that for me is promos, vintage packs, old back hollows. And now, which if you follow my channel, you'll know that we're going to start doing wholesale lots for other resellers. So I will import the cards myself from Japan and people have the opportunity to buy big lots of cards that they can buy off me and go and resell themselves. That way I can churn the most amount of product with the least amount of work. But yeah, Joe, if in the next few years, man, I would really like to take this full time. Like I'm a father, I'm a dad. I'd love to be able to spend my time at home with the kids and whatnot. I reckon that'd be so freaking good. So
it'd be amazing.
If we're talking about the next few years, if I can make a good crack at this and take a full time, that would be honestly the dream, man. Really, really the dream. But I started this to fund my own collecting, and it's sort of grown a bit beyond that now. So yeah, I mean, if I can take it full time, I'll be stoked. But I also enjoy working. So who really knows? But
Yeah,
just
right.
double downing on what's working, and I'm happy, man. I'm really really happy with how much I've progressed this year and how much. Yeah, so stoked.
Yeah, kind of building on that, I've got a good question here from Jorgen Dorsey on Instagram. I hope that's how you say it. He says, "How do you build a community?" I'm guessing it's like a Pokemon community. You're an excellent person to ask this to because you've built a massive, really well-run Pokemon community around box breaks. If you want to talk about that, how that idea came to you, and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, so I think like the way I sort of think about it, I think that people are attracted to people who are passionate about what they're doing, right? So I started my whole Instagram, my whole thing, just to share my collection, share my passion with the Pokemon community. I don't really post all that much up for sale on Instagram. I really post cards that I'm really passionate about, really cards and stuff of my collecting that really drives me to do what I do, guys. And people from that, people see that sort of passion, they get inspired, they get sort of motivated from that, and they reach out, they talk, and then most importantly, guys, Pokemon community is some of the best people in the world, man. Really, honestly, and making friends with those people, it's just it just compounds. And I look forward to reading your messages each and every day. So I really think that to build a community, you have to be sort of passionate about what you're doing, and that will rub off. That will be seen by other people, and they will love that. They will love that energy, and they will be involved with that. And speaking with the box breaks, like Jebel, you know that we've created like it's like our own little family in a sense
Yeah.
that joined the box breaks, and we all talk and stuff. It's just really wonderful. Like guys, don't be shy about joining in on the Pokemon community. There's a really really great bunch of people, and great bunch of people for every sort of corner of the hobby as well, guys. So my biggest tip would just be passionate about what you do, and people will follow that. So what would you
Yeah,
suggest,
absolutely.
Jeff?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think Instagram is so powerful. That's how like me and you started talking. That's how I've met so many people. Like most of the people I talk to are pretty much actually I'd probably 99% of people I talk to are on Instagram. And if you have that good page where you showcase your own products and you put on your story every now and then like some new stuff that you have, and you put in the effort to talk to people, that's how you kind of like build a community. Like I was someone where none of my friends like Pokemon. None of them, all of them are into like sport. I'm into sports as well, but most of them are into sports. Most of them are into like Call of Duty, all that kind of stuff. I didn't really have anyone to kind of like do this with. I just went in and was like, okay, I'm gonna be really vulnerable and contact people and like their pictures. And that's really a good way to get noticed is by liking people's pictures, messaging them, sharing good content. That's how you start to build a community. So you get like engagement all the time and making sure that you're always contacting people. I mean, I speak to you every day. I speak to Charles every day. I've got like a huge circle of friends where I speak to them every day, and most of them, all of them, in fact, I've never met like in real life.
One
So
day, Jebbles, one day. Once this
one
virus is
day,
done with, I'm flying over
yeah,
you. Then
yeah,
you're gonna
but
have to help me out.
it's a wonderful thing. So I think even putting selling aside, I think having a community in Pokemon is such a good thing to have. I think it's very healthy and good for you to have like a support system of people who love something just as much as you do.
I've got a point to add, Jebbles, and it may be a bit controversial, but I know if you're starting a YouTube channel, if you're starting some sort of content, you want to get people out there. It's something that I did when I first started, and it's something that it doesn't help. It actually does the opposite of what you think it does, and that's like when you obviously want to get your content out there, guys, and you're going to slide into people's DMs like, "Hey, watch my video." It really doesn't work, guys. And what I would suggest you do, rather than force down people's throats. I mean, I know how hard it is when you first start YouTube, guys. Believe me, Jebbles and I, we weren't there that long ago,
It's really
and
not
it's
that long
really
ago.
hard. It really is hard to get
Yeah.
that first few subscribers, get things rolling. But rather than trying to get new people in, guys, I really recommend you guys focus on the people that are already watching your content. Really give them the attention, the time that they deserve. They are the ones that are actually watching your content without being coaxed into it. They are invested in your content, guys. So really take your time and focus your attention on them rather than getting new people in, and then new people will join over time. And that way you build that foundation of strong, interested people rather than people just watching your content or interacting with your content because they feel obliged to. I don't know. Could be controversial, could not be.
I think that's a really good point because I'm a big believer in that. I would rather have, 1,000 subs on YouTube and have, 800 viewers. So 800 out of my 1,000 are from there, rather than having like 500,000 subs and only like 20,000 viewers. I'd rather have those people constantly watching. And I think, if you're someone who is it's same with Instagram, if you have like 10,000 followers but only 100 likes, it looks weird, right? So I think having that quality over quantity is really, really good. We're in a world where, having all the likes and all the subs is such a big deal. It's such a superficial big deal. But in reality, you just want a close group of people to always support you, and then that'll get the ball rolling. Because once I had like you and a couple other people, that's when like my YouTube kind of started to like evolve essentially. And
you're no longer trying to please the people you don't have. You're trying to please the people you do have.
Exactly.
And that is what is most important. So.
Absolutely. That's a great point. Yeah. All right. So we'll jump into another question here. And this one's from Jimmy Ricard on YouTube. And he said, how do you determine how much money you should pay yourself versus investing back into your business? So do you pay yourself, Arbok? Do you use any of that money on anything else, or is it just purely reinvesting?
This year, most of my profits went into. So sorry, for the first few months, Shebbles, everything that was sold went back into buying more product, getting that ball rolling. And as I had some months with more and more sales, I did take profit out of that to fund my collecting. Those of you who do follow the channel know that I love collecting the PSA 8 to 10 old back holographics. That is where most of my profits went. Is actually I don't pay myself any sort of salary or anything like that. I just started this to fund my collecting, so that's where most of my money is. But now that I'm trying to sort of level up my business, I've put my collecting on hold for a couple of months. I'm really trying to just jump to that next level of getting inventory, product and such. So I don't really have an exact formula. It's just a matter of month by month it changes because of my income or whatever. My revenue changes month by month. So how about you? Do you pay yourself anything?
No, I don't really pay myself anything. Like I've had the odd time where I've been like, oh, I'll pay like for my girlfriend and mine's dinner. And like, it's kind of cool. Like, oh, I've been able to use that money from Pokemon to use that. And I do try invest around like 10 to 15% of my profit from that month into like stocks or whatever. But essentially, I would say close to 80, 90% is straight back into more product. Honestly, I have with my business right now, because I'm trying to build it so quickly. I'm at a point, Christmas is such an important time for us, as a seller. Basically every time I get money in, it's going out straight away for more product to come back in. So I have this really big cycle right now where there's not actually a lot of money sitting in the bank. It's all going straight from my bank straight into like more product, and it's going through this cycle now.
I have probably 2 months worth of purchasing already planned, and I've got what I have coming in, and I've sort of pre-planned, okay, I'm going to make this much, so I'm going to pre-plan how much I'm going to spend.
It's really difficult. I think at our level it's really difficult to pay yourself as like for some reason. It's like, so a lot, like for me, I have to put in a lot of pre-orders. I have money going to Hong Kong, I have money going to Japan, I've got money going here, there and everywhere, and sometimes it's really hard to keep track of. And if I'm pulling out some of that money to pay myself, I might have to pull it back, if you know what I mean. So many pre-orders and it's like there's money all over the place. And that's, when you see growth like this, like we have, it's really difficult to keep track of your money, and that's where you need accounting and spreadsheets and whatever to help you see where your money is.
I've got a question for you, just backing off of that, Jebels.
Yeah.
Is there a number that if you could make consistently that you would then go and pay yourself with? Like for me, if I was consistently making $10,000 of revenue a month, then that's more than enough I need to reinvest in product. Then I probably would pay myself. But that's I have to do that consistently. And at the moment, like I could probably have a month where I do make 10 grand, but doing that consistently is another thing. So is there a number that you have in mind? Have you even thought about it?
I have thought about it, but at the same time, I want to reach the level where one day I could buy like a Wizards of the Coast, booster box and like kind of like have a box break of that. That's kind of like my big goal. And if I'm paying myself, I'm never going to reach that point. But on a more realistic level, I think I would need something like 4K or 3K or 4K of profit to be able to be like, okay, I can like give myself $1,000 or something. And then because a lot of people they see our YouTube and it's like, okay, just an example, like last month I made, I think it was $7,500, but that's in sales and revenues, not in profit. And profit was like half of that. So you need to be like really careful with looking between revenue and what profit is, because some people get like mixed up. They see the big numbers and it's not actually what you made.
And if you start to pay yourself too early, you'll shoot yourself in the foot by not being able to grow fast enough to get to the point where you can consistently do it. So
that's the thing. Don't kill a good thing while it's going.
So like for me, maybe if I get to that point, maybe I'll like ease into it. Maybe I'll bring the boat closer to the jetty before I jump off. Maybe I'll go like in a few months' time, maybe I'll give myself $500 a month. Then next month or a couple of months later, I'll give myself $1,000 a month. Then 2,000, and see if it affects my business. And if it's not, then I'll keep going. But I mean, this is sort of, I don't plan on doing that at least for another year. I think another year of just recycling, getting things going, and then go from there. So, all right. Is there another question you have, Jebel?
I do have another question, but I can't see where it is. Oh, wait. Yeah, here it is. Sorry. It's from the same guy, Jimmy Ricard on YouTube again. He was asking, how many different streams of income do you both currently have? And I think that's a good question because one of the things that I've kind of that we're taught is that the more streams of income or sources of income you have, the better it really is. So do you have like any additional, like we know you have a job and everything, is there anything else besides your job and Pokemon that you have where money is coming in which can help you?
So my Pokemon business and my regular income are totally separate. My regular income covers everything from mortgage to investing to everything, and Pokemon are just self-sustainable. But I do get affiliate marketing revenue as well, and I get through eBay. In the bottom of my video is my eBay link. Every time someone clicks on that and follows through with a purchase, not on my eBay store, but anything on eBay, I get a little bit of a kickback from that. So I do get a bit of revenue from that, and I'm really hoping that in the next sort of 6 months I could start to get some YouTube revenue as well. And I'm always looking for other opportunities like I don't know, like Patreon or something if we can get there. But I'm always looking into the space because you might as well, if you can provide a quality service. I mean, I'm not trying to get money for free. If I can provide something to people that they desperately need or that they need, then why not? So I'm looking into other avenues, but at the moment, it really is just my selling and my affiliate marketing as well. But how about you, Jebs? I know you get money for YouTube.
Yeah, I hit the big time now. I get
the free ride.
Yeah, exactly. So this month was actually the first month I got paid by YouTube, and it was like $225, something around 220 something anyway, which is a lot.
Just because you have ads on your YouTube videos doesn't mean you can retire, does it?
Yeah, it's not a lot of money. Like for the amount of time I spend editing, filming, all that kind of stuff. It's really pennies on the dollar. But at the same time, that's $200 I wouldn't have had last month or earlier in the year. That's something I've really worked hard at on YouTube trying to do, and you're doing exactly the same. You'll be there soon. But yeah, YouTube and this is the only two things that I do right now. I'm a full-time student, so I've been busting my butt with that, and then hopefully in like May, June time, I'll actually get a big boy job and be in the big world. But we'll see about that.
What happens if the job doesn't allow for Pokemon? Who am I going to talk to?
Oh, that would be bad, wouldn't it? Yeah, I wouldn't take the job, I don't think. I'd
have to buy out Pokejebel Incorporated or whatever.
Yeah, I'll have to sell the
Arboks then will swallow it up.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I don't really have many sources of income, but I really am a big advocate of, trying to get as many different avenues, whether, you're getting $10 a week or $100 a week or $1,000 a week. Every single bit helps. The more you can get in. I think that eBay thing is so good. I just don't use eBay enough to kind of like use it, but anytime you need to buy something, go to Arboks link and it kind of helps him out, or get one for yourself. So but yeah, so I've got another question, which is a really, really tough question, but a really good one at the same time. It's from Harris Justin C on Instagram. And he says, what's your process or formula for deciding what to charge for booster packs, booster boxes, singles, etc.? What do you do?
Okay. The process in what I decide to charge, that has to start and what I can obtain the product for, right? So first things first is I find out what the product is going to cost me. If it's a one-off thing, if it's a one-off item, it's not something that I focus too much on. But if it is an item that I can consistently get, I'm looking at what I can consistently get the product for. And if I can get multiples of it, it's obviously I'm going to be able to provide a cheaper experience for the customer, because I can sell multiples of it. If it's a one-off thing, I probably will tend to increase the price, because once it's sold, I have to go find another one. So first things first, I start off with what I can obtain the product in, with cost to me, what is the product costing. Then second of all, I go and I check eBay sold listings, I check other sort of marketplaces and see if there are any selling. And most importantly, I see what they have sold for recently. Like, it's easy to find a sold listing on eBay, but if it's from 3 or 4 months ago, the price is usually out of date. And then once I go from sold listings, so I start with sold listings and then I go and see what is currently for sale. So if there's something around that mark, usually I will try my best to be the cheapest on there. Even if it's the cheapest by $1, it's still the cheapest. So going from there, and then I don't believe in trying to make the most amount of money per product. Like, if I can provide a good deal for the customer, that is better business for me in the long term than just trying to make the most amount of money on a single item. So basically, just to sum that up, I start with what it costs me all up to get to me onto my desk, what that cost is, what it's selling for currently, what it's sold for in the past, and what it's selling for actually on the market right now. And then I do my best to undercut that, be the cheapest there. And then obviously, if it's a one-off item, I probably will charge a bit more. And then if it is an item, say, like, you guys know I do a lot of promos, I can usually get them in bulk, and then I can provide a cheaper sort of deal, because I know I'm going to get that payment over and over and over again. I'll make my profit in the long run, and I can provide my customers a cheaper experience. So what's your process, Jeb? Because I deal on eBay, but you deal on Facebook, where there isn't really you can't really see sold comps unless it's staring you in the face. So
yeah,
I'd like to know your process.
It's similar to yours, where I look at sold listings on eBay, since I'm able to see. And I also, there are a couple people who have started popping up selling Japanese stuff on Facebook, and I try to beat their price every time. But in general, like you said, you take the total cost of that shipment and you try to divide it up by item to see what you can do with it. But I've got a good question right here in front of me that I can kind of answer the question I asked you with this question. It says, you mentioned that Japanese stores raise their prices every time a product is sold out. So I mentioned that in my last video. And he says, do you do that, or do you keep it as low as you can with low margins for your business? And that was from Professor Fuwamon on Instagram. So I've got a good story, and I've told it many times on YouTube, where Legendary Heartbeat came out. And I think it was costing me $45 a box without shipping. So I can't remember what shipping was, but it was around $45 a box. So once I got my shipment of like 10, 15 boxes, and I went on eBay to kind of like see who was selling it. And the big YouTuber, SM Pratt, was selling it for $99.99. And I was thinking to myself, he must be making an absolute fortune on those boxes because, if I'm getting them for 45, he's probably getting them for even cheaper. But what I decided to do was, even though I knew I could sell it for $99.99, I sold them at $75 or $74.99, and I got rid of them a lot quicker than I otherwise would. And I think that having a lower price helps you in the long run because, one, you get more customers and more customers coming back to you because they know you're the cheapest way to get the Japanese product. If I'm putting them at the same price as SM Pratt, they'd probably rather buy from a big YouTuber than a really tiny YouTuber with a small marketplace. If I have a smaller, a reduced price from SM Pratt, then people will want to buy from me, and that's what I tend to do. Is I go on eBay and I try, even if I'm squeezing, only $5 to $10 profit out of something, I will do that rather than making $20. Being slower, the sales are slower, and having less people interested. I think you really have to be competitive in this environment, and a lot of things that I sell have really shitty margins. Like, I'm not making much money at all. I make a lot of revenue, but like I said before, that doesn't translate essentially to profit. And I prefer to make more people happy, having less profit than not having as many people happy and having a lot more profit. So that's the way I think about it. I try to think of it as like a community-based thing rather than just being a capitalist pig. So it's difficult because you do want to make money, but at the same time, you want to be careful as well.
I think using that example, right, that's a great example, Joe. It's really, really great example because it'd be extremely short-sighted for you to try and match that price because it would really slow down your business. I've experienced the most amount of return business and long-term business through generosity that I've given people. So if people have won giveaways or I tend to give them extra stuff, then that really has really like tenfold returned itself in profits for me anyway. So saying that, guys, like especially on platforms like eBay, the long-term trusted seller, even if they have the higher price, is the safe bet for the customer. Whether that is a perceived risk, right? You as the smaller seller need to outweigh that perceived risk. So like obviously the seller that has the big foundation, they have that long-term track record. Customers are looking for the safe bet, right? So if you're coming in matching his price, people 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100 are going to go with the trusted, the long-term seller with all that track record. But if you can provide a good enough deal that it would outweigh that sort of safe, low-risk purchase, then you're going to do yourself favors. And once you make those sales and the customer sees that you go above and beyond for them as well, not just flog the product off and be done with it, it's going to help you in the long run. You're going to create, like Jebels, you have an amazing business sort of following. Everyone wants their product from Pokejebel. They want to get their booster boxes from Pokejebel. And that's because he provides the best price, he provides the best service, and he does everything he can. So if you are starting this sort of from the beginning, guys, I'd be looking at what can you do for the customer, not what the customer can do for you. So.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I've said it. I've made a couple of videos as well where like I kind of like prove that I'm even cheaper than like getting from Plaza Japan, and doing stuff like that really, really helps you. Like it hurts you financially, not in like a you're losing money kind of sense, but you're just not making as much as you otherwise could. But then you become known, and once that quantity builds and builds and builds, it becomes a lot more financially sensible for you. And then you can, like, if you really wanted to, I guess you could put the prices up, but that's not really what this is about. But anyway, I've got another question, which is
the postman just rocked up. How exciting!
What's
I've got Pokemon cards. So I'll get them after this. How exciting!
So this question is from Daniel Server on Instagram, and he asks, a new product is coming out and you don't know in advance if there's going to be a big hitter, do you buy it? And I'm assuming he is asking about pre-ordering. What is your advice for that?
So I will counteract that with, would you rather miss the boat or would you rather have your foot in the market? So like before the set, like let's take Shiny Star V for example, right? That box was dirt cheap before there was any sort of information about the set, right? Yeah. Absolutely huge opportunity. As soon as the Charizard was announced in it, it doubled in price. So if you
over doubled, I think now.
Yeah, over doubled. And if we're talking about Japanese product, I don't recommend remortgaging the house to go and buy Japanese product. But if you dip your feet in with a low enough sort of quantity, I'm pretty confident you'll be able to sell them if you're up for the risk. But if you order early enough, you save yourself that potential of the price all of a sudden, it's doubled. Like Shiny Star V, like I slept on it. I was like, I've got ages. I can order it. It'll be ages and ages. And I just never did it, and it bit me in the bum. So what would be something that you recommend, Jebel? Would you use?
I am someone now who always pre-orders because what I found is that if the set is going to be crap, then the price doesn't change. It does not decrease or anything. But if it's going to be a really, really good set, it's going to increase. And it's happened with every single set. I've been watching this since I started getting these boxes in probably March time. And every release, I've been closely watching the price change. And every time there's a Charizard, boom, price goes up. Every time there's a shiny card, boom, it goes up.
A new variant like Amazing Rares, boom.
Yeah, Legendary Heartbeat was such a good one as well. Similar to Shiny V, it was $34 or $39. I can't remember which one it was. And now you can't get it really for unless it's $75. So that's another thing to watch. And also, things in Japan are printed differently from English. And people don't realize that English is just constantly kind of printing, and they have a big print run. This is the fourth or fifth time that Legendary Heartbeat has been totally sold out in Japan. They've had to have a pre-order for something that's already out. Shiny V is another example. You can't get Shiny V anymore. You have to pre-order it in Japan and it'll come in the second wave. Same with Vivid Voltage. Vivid Voltage is sold out. It's coming out in the second wave. So I always get a pre-order, and once it gets to me, I order a second lot, and then I kind of have that. I don't have a lag where I'm having to wait for the next pre-order, if you know what I mean.
So that's something that I missed out on. Is I did a small order of Shiny Star V, obviously because the price increased and I couldn't really afford to go full on because I missed the boat. And then I got it in, and then all of a sudden the demand was really there, and I wanted to go and buy some more. And I said, it was on pre-order again for releasing on Christmas Day, 25th of December was the next print release. And then I was like, okay, I'll ask around. And then I missed that boat. Now the next one is on the 15th of January. So it just goes to show it's not a constant supply. It runs out and then we've got to print some more. Let's print it all, place your pre-orders, and then, okay, that one's done. Let's go to the next one. So
yeah, and it's
in my opinion, just sorry, Jobs, you go.
No, I was just saying, it's not you can pre-order it. You have to pre-order it and spend the money. So you're spending $800, $900 on those booster boxes, and you have to wait 2 months for the pre-order to come out. So you have to be really, really careful with the way you look at things, I think.
Yeah. So just to answer the actual question, I think that I definitely would pre-order in advance. I would take the plunge on booster boxes. I wouldn't really advise in going on to the exclusive different releases. I would go booster boxes, get a pre-order in early, and then that way once it does release, you can gauge on how much more you want to spend. But if you get say a handful of boxes, you minimize your risk in not being able to sell them. And as you said, Jebbles, there's a baseline for all Japanese boxes it never dips below that. You'll be able to make a little bit of money on the boxes regardless if you have enough time to sell them and whatnot. But if the set does explode, then obviously you can make more money. So the next set coming out is the Rapid Strike, and the other one,
Right. Yeah.
I'm going on them, because time and time again that I've been like, I've waited too long. So now I'm going out, and even now they're starting to be released stuff being released and stuff for that now. So I sort of feel like, oh shit, I'm a bit late. So after this video, I'll be placing my order for that. So just so I don't miss out.
Yeah. So because everyone on this video will be wanting to buy it now.
Yeah.
But I have put in a pre-order for not just the set that you mentioned, but the set that's coming out in like March or February.
Yeah.
Far in advance I do it now, because that's the only way like I know that I'm gonna be able to like 100% get it. But at the same time, like I think English is helping us sell Japanese, because like right now, try find me a store that has a Vivid Voltage booster box in it, or a Darkness Ablaze booster box, or any booster box.
I haven't even seen a Vivid Voltage booster box in Australia. I haven't seen one. I have never seen one in person.
I have not touched. The only thing I managed to get were these. These are still sealed.
You got them?
Yeah, I haven't opened.
They're $130 in Australia, because the supply is non-existent. Absolutely unbelievable.
I purchased those in the summer. I remember sitting outside and put in a pre-order, and they only came in 2 weeks ago, because they've been like constantly being like, they've had like a struggle. So I think English is having this really difficult time finding a way to distribute it fairly and efficiently, and then we have scalpers on top of that, and we have so many issues in the English side that I'm really happy that I'm on the Japanese side, because
absolutely
so well done in every single way. And now I don't care at all about English cards unless it's like vintage English, but that's out of my price range now. So I only really care about Japanese, and once you go to Japanese, you realize, holy cow, like this is so much better than English by like miles and miles.
It takes a bit for like for me, my whole life I have loved English cards, and I still do love English cards. Let's be real, I still do love English cards, but once you dive into the world of Japanese, it's incredible. It sucks you in, man. It's so cheap to get involved in. Like, it's like half the cost almost, and the cards are printed way better. It's just they just do it better. It's just, I don't know, they just do it better. And like now, I touch very little modern English. I usually spend all of my modern on Japanese. It's just, I don't know, it's just nicer. It's cheaper. There's less barrier to entry. It's like, you can open a crap ton of it. It's just great. It's good fun. It's good fun.
That's a great, the fact that you said barriers to entry, like this, we have to remember, like this is really supposed to be targeted to the kids. We're just, still stuck in a kid's head. But, the prices in the USA and Australia and Great Britain are not prices which are priced towards children. It's insane. Whereas Japanese ones, if you live in Japan, you can get a booster box for $35. $35. You can buy 4 booster boxes in Japan for 1 English one. That's mad. And the fact that they're just so accessible too.
Like Vivid Voltage, like usually for Pokemon, the entire history, right, for as long as I can remember, booster boxes retailed for 160 Australian dollars. That's pretty expensive, considered that, like, usually, $90 in the US? Normal sort of circumstances. Yeah. Now, like, Vivid Voltage, $225 a box. It's just, for what you pull, it's not worth it, man. It's not worth it.
There's just no way you get your return on your investment anymore.
No.
It used to be that time where you could be lucky and pull something good and you'd get your money back, and now it's not. Can't do
hopefully
that.
Moving into 2021, they sort of sort the supply issue out, and it tends to come back down. And I think, but it has helped the Japanese side of things, because it's been so hard to get into English. Japanese has really always been the cheaper alternative, and it's just much easier to get a hands on. I'm a big fan. So, any more questions, Jebel? Because I got one left in my sheet. If you want,
I think I'm done, man. So go ahead, hit me with a question.
All right. So we got from Pokey Mitch himself, Mitchell Purd, and he asked, any products that haven't sold as well as you hoped, or that you regret buying? So any mistakes, essentially.
There's not Mistakes, no. Mistakes, it's difficult to say. Like, there's some things that are taking way longer than I thought that they should sell for. I'm saying that really wrong. There's some products that are taking a long time to sell, and they're taking a lot longer than I thought they would. But there's none where I've like hit a wall and I'm like, I cannot get rid of this at all. What I tend to do with stuff that is struggling to sell, what I try get people to buy like something expensive and then tag that along with it and basically give it to them for what I paid for it. So for example, I had a couple of those Rebel Clash Toxtricity VMAX boxes, V boxes. I'll put one on the screen, and those were really popular when Rebel Clash came out. And then once we kind of like knew that Rebel Clash was really actually like trash, those started like becoming really, really difficult for me to sell. So then whenever someone wanted a booster box, I'd be like, hey, do you want this Rebel Clash thing for like $20 when I was selling them at like 45 before? So that's what I kind of do. If I'm struggling to sell something, I try put it as an add-on and get my money back. That's the thing that we all have to realize is like sometimes it's not about just making a profit. You just want your money back. And that's the best thing that you can do. It's way better than having products sitting. Like I'd rather have my money back than having products sitting and waiting for like 6 months for some random person to be like, oh yeah, I'm really looking for the Rebel Clash Toxtricity thing. Like it's probably not going to happen. So I try to get that money out so I can reinvest that money. I think we've talked about it before where, having access to capital and having capital flowing all the time is the healthiest way for a business to kind of operate, having that cycle and flow of cash coming in, cash going out, all that kind of stuff. So I haven't really run into an issue of one specific thing. I mentioned the Toxtricity box, but like I said, there are ways to get the product out, such as tagging them along with other things. You just have to be kind of like creative with it. Just being creative is probably the best way for me. So some things have not sold as well as I thought they would, such as that box, but everything does end up going. There's nothing that is still sitting in my cupboard where I'm like, okay, I'm just going to open this for myself.
Yeah, so I think like I don't really have any regrets as such because I do value the lessons I learned from what doesn't work. So our models are a bit different, whereas yours is a lot of modern product and stuff. So you try, like, what I would recommend is when you first start out, probably just do booster boxes. There's probably the safest option out there, right? And then dive into some other sort of like variant products. But for me, my business is a lot of single cards, right? So most of my collection, like I've been buying collections, and then I tend to try and aim myself towards a collection with a few major cards that I can make my money back on. So usually before my cards reach eBay, I've sort of made most of my money on them, most of my money back on that collection. So I'm more than happy to put it on eBay and wait forever. Whereas you want your money back so you can go and reinvest in more product.
Right,
once it sort of reaches eBay, I'm happy for it to sit there for the longest time. Like last night, I sold a card that had been on eBay since I started, but it sold, and like, oh, all of a sudden, okay, that's sold. Great. I've learned my lesson that I probably won't invest heavily in diamond and pearl cards, but just like something like that, like diamond and pearl singles, it eventually sold, but there wasn't enough market to it. And there are things you can do on eBay, like you said, right? Get creative with how you can sell products. With my eBay business, I can do promoted listings. I can change a listing to an auction. I can do a whole bunch of stuff. I can run eBay sales, which I plan on doing in the new year. I'm going to drop a massive eBay sale, which I haven't announced yet on my channel or anything. But I'm going to drop a massive eBay sale and then clear out some old inventory, hopefully. But there's nothing I really regret buying. I'm pretty cautious and I do my research when I go and I buy something, so I minimize that risk. There are definitely things like I bought a whole bunch of E-series holographics, and I thought these are going to be fantastic. They're going to be sold for a fortune. They're vintage and they're going to fly off the shelves. And I really they haven't sold anywhere near as like I'd hoped. But like I said, the collections I buy, usually I try to aim for a few major cards that I can sell and make most of my money, if not all my money, back on the collection. That way, once it goes on eBay, it can sit up there for as long as it likes. So I have no regrets because in everything that I make mistakes on, I learn from mistake. That's where I gain value in that. So I can't really say I regret anything, Jebbles.
Yeah. I think that's a good thing about Pokemon as well, is that everyone has different tastes. People, like I have these gym promos here that a lot of people love. I have some singles. I have the booster boxes. I have the Blastoise and Venusaur decks. Like having a variety of things really does kind of like help you and pull in a larger portion or a larger pool of people as well. Because that way you can always tag on. If I'm struggling to sell this like Suicune here, if someone's buying a booster box, I can be like, oh, do you want this for like $2 or $3, just like as an add-on? And I think that's always something that you guys should look at, is trying to find those bulk deals where you can help people out, and it's kind of like a cool thing to do, I think, as well. But yeah, so is that all our questions for today? I think we've gone through a lot. I think this is running for a long time as well. So I think that's us done for now. So
thanks for having me on, Jebbles. And I mean, we both received so many questions, and a lot of them were questions of like, we did try to cut out a lot of questions where it was, do you recommend this product or do you recommend this item? And it's like, it's just going to take too much time to dive into every little nook and cranny. But I would love to do more. I would love to do more of this in the future, Jebbles. If the demand is there, guys, I'd really love to do it. Maybe we can do something on my channel, what have you.
Absolutely.
Don't worry. I'm sure we'll collaborate more. And if there are any questions or something, you're more than welcome to reach out to me on Instagram. I'll get to it when I can. I will respond. It's just a matter of when. And guys, appreciate it if you come over, have a look at my channel. But happy to always provide you guys with information and whatnot. And Jebbles, thank you so much for having me on, man.
Absolutely. He's a really nice guy, guys. Go follow him. Nice guy. So thank you, everyone, for bearing with us. If you've got to this point, well done. It's been a long time you've been listening to us. I really appreciate you all. And if you have any additional questions, put them down in the comments below, and Arbok and I will do our very best to get back to you. So once again, thank you guys. We really appreciate you. Go check out Arboks Den. You will not regret it. So thank you very much. We'll speak to you shortly. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.